Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Kirschner, President and CEO of the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Dayton Reopened. Today is a recognition of where we've been and a celebration of our business community being reopened and back to business. Today would not be possible, though, if it wasn't for the support of our sponsors. The sponsors that you see in front of you, or will see in front of you in just a second, have made today possible. If it wasn't for them supporting the business community, we would not be able to do events like this and be able to help advocate for the business community on a regular basis. A special thank you to our presenting sponsor, Kettering Health Network. The Dayton area business community has been through a lot. We've been in 2019, we saw tornadoes that devastated our community. In August of 2019, we had a tragedy in the Oregon district that shook all of us to the core. And now in 2020, COVID-19 has had such an economic impact on all of us and all of our businesses that we could never imagine what was coming. But we still stand strong. Our businesses have pivoted and changed to meet the demands of our community, our employees, and our government partners. And the economic data shows this. The economic data shows that we are doing well, and we are recovering, and we are reopened. Regional sales tax collections are up 9.5% in the Dayton area over this exact same time last year. Total home sales are up 4.8%. The Dayton area's unemployment is at 10.7%. This is better than the state's unemployment rate and the country's unemployment rate. And one of the most important economic indicators is our unemployment benefits. Unemployment benefits in April of 2020 saw 2.9 million people already receiving benefits and 526,000 new filers. And fast forward to 4 months later, August of 2020, those new claims are down by 83% to 88,000 new claims, and continued claims are down 45% to 1.6 million. That means people are getting back to work, people are getting off unemployment, and they're getting back to business. In addition, we have big economic development projects in the Dayton area that are still on track. The Dayton Arcade, a $96 million investment in our downtown core with major components that are going to be completed by the end of this year. The Fire Blocks District continues. We all just saw the old metal skin come off of the Price Stores building, revealing a beautiful historic building underneath. AES, the parent company of DP&L, is investing $20 million at McGregor Park, creating new highly skilled jobs and moving an AES Center of Excellence that was previously located in South America to Dayton, Ohio. And Route 40 by the Dayton International Airport just broke ground this week on a $15 million investment that supports almost 3,000 jobs in logistics and distribution, and many more to come. All signs are pointing to the fact that we're going to come out of this pandemic stronger than we ever have before. But don't take it from me. We have some special guests here that I think are going to be able to share some of their thoughts with you about this as well. I have the pleasure of introducing our presenting sponsor, Terry Burns, Chief Operating Officer with Kettering Health Network, to introduce our keynote speaker, Governor Dewine. Terry.
I am honored to introduce
Terry, I think your audio might be off.
Okay, it's back. It's my privilege to be able to introduce Governor Dewine. And as I describe him, I want to tell you that he's familiar to everybody. But there may be somebody out there that doesn't know him. He was raised right in Yellow Springs, where he met his wife in first grade. And they got married. They attended Miami University. They have 8 children and 24 grandchildren. And that's laudable. They currently reside in Cedarville. They are part of the Miami Valley in every aspect of the regular non-government life. He's all over the state, though, with other things. I have witnessed firsthand his leadership during this COVID pandemic. From the newscasts that we all watch and we continue to watch regularly, where he gives good updates and exhorts us to act responsibly, to wear the right PPE, to keep our social distance apart. I believe his actions have saved countless lives here in Ohio, and I know that that's going to continue here in the state. He's had a sincere and deep commitment to keeping our state as healthy as possible in the middle of this disaster. I also want to thank him and his wife, Fran, for their encouragement of a program that came to Ohio right here in Montgomery County, and that is the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which provides books for children from age 0 through age 5. And thanks to his and Fran's work, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library will soon be accessible to children in all 88 counties here in Ohio. And it will be called the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library. And this is a really fabulous investment in our youth. I hope those of you that want information about it will consider finding out and supporting that program. But I want to thank the governor and the first lady for their dedication in making that possible for all of Ohio. And now it's my honor to introduce the 70th governor of the great state of Ohio. Governor, thank you for being with us today.
Well, Terry, thank you very, very much. And Kettering Health Network has been a real partner of ours as we fought this pandemic. So thank you for all your great work. It's been great working with you on this. I also want to thank you for something that I don't know that Kettering gets a lot of credit for, but it certainly is very important, and I see the benefits, and that is your commitment to rural health in Ohio. One of our challenges is our smaller communities many times do not have the health care that they need, and Terry, you and Kettering have really gone after this and have expanded and gone into counties and areas where people are really underserved. So thank you very much for that. Chris, thank you for your comments. Dayton Chamber, nobody does it better than the Dayton Chamber. This has been true for many, many years. Dayton Chamber has an ability to really focus on the issues that matter for the area and do a great job in presenting priorities to the governor. I got the same thing when I was in the U.S. Senate, presenting it to senators, presenting it to your congressional delegation, your legislative delegation. These things are just, very, very, very important. I'm very optimistic about the future of the Miami Valley. We're going to get through this pandemic. We're going to take this thing down when the vaccine is here. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but that's going to happen, and we're going to continue to, come on back very, very strong. Congratulations on getting the first 4 again until 2026. Again, nobody does it better. Nobody has a better local support than first of all of the Dayton Flyers, but that first 4 has just become a huge event, and so thanks to the Chamber for your leadership in regard to that and all that you do. I also want to thank the Chamber and all business in this area for the role that you have played during this pandemic. One of the things that we did, I think, very well in Ohio, because of the support of the business community, was as we opened some of the businesses back up, we did it with protocols that really were designed by business. And we worked on different committees, no matter what the business was, whether it was manufacturing, whether it was restaurants, whatever it was. We had different working groups, and it was made up of business people who came back with the best protocols. The result has been that our workers are safe, and many times the safest time of the day, frankly, is when they're working in business. Doesn't mean you don't have some spread in business, but of the virus. But businesses have done, I think, a very solid, very good job, and it goes back to when businesses were involved in helping us design, what the best practices would be. One of the things that we have saw very early on in this pandemic that was very frustrating, and every governor faced it, every area, every state, and that was the really kind of messed up supply chain for personal protection equipment for our first responders, for our folks in hospitals, for our folks in nursing homes. And I vowed that, I would do everything I could in the future to have as much of this personal protection equipment made in Ohio as we could do. So we put together, along with the Ohio Manufacturers Association, along with the hospitals, many other entities, we put together what we call the Ohio Manufacturers Alliance. And we have 51 companies in our area that belong to that. This group has worked exceedingly hard so that we can start producing many of these products that we need right here in the state of Ohio. So I want to give a shout out to everyone who's been involved in that. We are now seeing in Ohio the beginning of manufacture, for example, the N95 mask. Which is very important. We've got companies that are making sanitizer that were not doing this before. We've got surgical masks that are being made here. So a lot of things are going on right in Ohio. And so thanks to everybody, particularly our manufacturing sector, for being involved in that. I also want to thank the Chamber for your support of House Bill 606. I know Chris Kirshner was very much involved in this, and the Chamber was an advocate for it. We felt that this was an essential bill as we move forward, and it gives businesses protection, during the pandemic, and from civil liability. And it just made sense. I was happy to sign the bill, and I think it's something very, very strong. Thank you also for your support of our legislation that has not passed, and that is the Strong Ohio bill that came out of the Oregon district crisis. That's great tragedy that we saw there. And every week on my press conference, I talk about shootings that are occurring in Ohio. And one particular part of the Strong Ohio bill I emphasize, and that is what you'll find is that most of the shootings that are occurring in Dayton, occurring in Lima, Toledo, all throughout the state, are really caused by violent offenders who've already been convicted of a felony. They're not allowed to have a gun anyway, and being able to up the penalty for when the police in Dayton or wherever it is, Montgomery County sheriffs, when they find someone who is a convicted felon, not just a convicted felon, but someone who's been convicted of a violent offense, they're not allowed to have a gun. If we find them with a gun, we ought to be able to really give the judge the ability to put that person away for a long time. It's a small number of people in our communities that are causing the most violence, and it's even a small number of the criminal element. So any help, continued help you can give us on that. The Chamber testified in favor of this bill. We appreciated that support. It's still pending the legislature a year later, and it's something that we know will save lives. So we appreciate your support very, very much. on that. Let me just close with kind of how I see things going in Ohio. I am very optimistic. I think we're doing well. We've done well through this pandemic. We have kept the virus down so that it has not flared up. We've not seen the overriding of the hospitals or the great concern that we saw first in Italy, then we've seen it in New York, and we've seen in California, Texas, Florida. We've avoided that. And that has enabled us, I think, economically to come back, to be able to open our schools, to be able to do the things that we're doing. I will tell you, though, that this is being threatened now. In the last 2 weeks, we've seen just an amazing surge in the virus, and it is starting to really, it alarms us a great deal. We were running about 1,000 cases a day for quite some time. We are now over 2,000 cases a day. So if you look at where we were 3 weeks ago versus where we are today, we've doubled the number of cases per day. And that kind of gives you an outline of what's going on. Some of you are familiar with our maps that we put up every Thursday, where we show what's going on in each county. Red designates that we really have a big problem in a county. We now have 2/3 of Ohio citizens who are living in red counties. Montgomery County has been red for some time. Greene County is now red. Clark County is now red. So we're at a very critical stage. We've learned a lot during this pandemic. One of the things that we have learned is how effective masks are. At the beginning, we had a doctor on yesterday at our press conference, and he said, I apologize at the beginning. We didn't really fully comprehend how important these masks were. But two people wearing masks that come in contact with each other, dramatically cuts down the possibility, if both of them were wearing a mask, of any kind of spread if one of them has the COVID-19. So what we need to do going forward is not very complicated. We can start knocking this thing down again. Experts predicted that when we went into winter and it got colder, people started going inside, we'd see a rise in the virus. We are certainly seeing that. Part of the reason, frankly, is we just don't have the compliance. People are getting weary, they're getting tired, they're not wearing a mask, particularly in our rural counties. Some of our rural counties, 10, 20% is all we're seeing out in our grocery stores of people wearing masks. So it's pretty simple what we need to do. Wearing a mask, keeping a distance, avoiding events that may seem benign. People let their guard down when they're with family. They let their guard down when they're with friends. But that's where we're really seeing the spread. We're seeing it from weddings, funerals. We're seeing it from small parties. We're seeing it from people just getting together. Much more than we're seeing it in school. Much more than we're seeing it in business. It's the times when people let their guard down. It's the times when people socialize. That really is the dangerous time. And so if you can share that message with your employees, that's not just important to be safe on the job for 8 hours. The other 16 hours a day are vital as well. And people, we can live with this virus. We can do the things that we want to do. But what really is going to imperil it is if this spread continues at the rate it's going now. We're already starting to see some schools that were open 5 days a week are cutting back, and they're cutting back because they can't put teachers in the classroom. They're cutting back because they've got a lot of kids quarantined. And for people in the communities, if we want our schools to stay open, if we want our kids to play sports, if we want our businesses to be able to continue to employ people, we've got to slow this thing down. And the way we have to do it is pretty simple. It's wearing masks, it's keeping a distance, it's avoiding these events that are likely to cause spread. Some of the saddest things I've seen are weddings. We've seen weddings where two grandparents end up dead as a result of the spread that occurred during those festivities. So this is just the type of event that when people are not careful, we see great tragedy. But I am optimistic. And look, the Dayton and Montgomery County, Miami Valley has gone through a lot. As Chris said, we went through the tornadoes, the Oregon District tragedy. We went through a very, very difficult time with the shooting of several of our officers. And so it's been tough, COVID-19, but this is a strong group of people in the Miami Valley, and despite all of this, we're moving forward. So I'm optimistic. We got to get through this virus. We want to keep as many, people who don't get sick, so that they can come out of the end of this, whether whenever it is, and we think it's probably sometime in summer, this coming summer, that we're going to have the vaccine, out and enough people take it to really knock this thing down. But we will see. But when we come out of that, I think we're going to come out very, very, very strong, and I think there's going to be a lot of pent up energy. And people, we're going to see this economy come back. But a lot of good things going on. And again, Chris, thank you for inviting me. Thanks for your great leadership. Thanks for everything that the Chamber does. I'm actually, right now, I just landed in Zanesville. I'm spending today working the eastern side of the state and southeastern part of the state, and then end up in Cincinnati and then go back to Cedarville tonight. But trying to carry the message out here of what we have to do as Ohioans, that we can control our destiny with this virus, and that's why I'm out today doing this. But thank you for allowing me just to say a few words, and I hope you have a great rest of the day, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Governor, thank you very much. You are one of our own here in Dayton, and hopefully you view all of us in that same light. We're family. You're part of the greater Dayton region. You always have been, and we appreciate you always looking out for the best interest of the Dayton area and our business community.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Sure, absolutely. What I'm pleased to say too, I've been meeting with a lot of our businesses, and every single business I've walked in has been extremely safe and is taking your recommendations very seriously. So please know our businesses here in Dayton know how important it is to maintain a safe working environment, and they are working hard at that.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor. Appreciate it. And thank you to Terry Burns with Kettering Health Network as our presenting sponsor and for introducing Governor Dewine. Today's an exciting day. This is a kickoff to the Dayton area being reopened. Now, we've been reopened for a while, but we are open and we are here to stay. And today is an exciting day to celebrate our local business community and support our local business community. And I am excited to debut a video that Holly Allen and our marketing department has put together and produced that was an exclusive debut for our members to talk about where we've been and where we're going. It really represents the spirit of Dayton.
Facing challenges is what we do in business. Since the Chamber was founded in 1907, our business community has persevered through the 1913 flood, the Great Depression, and economic peaks and valleys. Today is a new day. We wake up ready for whatever comes our way. We will rise stronger, shifting, pivoting, innovating, and reimagining what our business community can be. We are Dayton, we are reopened, and we are Dayton Strong.
Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. I'm Holly Allen. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you all here today as we kick off Dayton Reopened. I want to thank Indigo Life, our friend, chamber member, for working with us to produce that video. We're trying to get as much attention to as many chamber members as we possibly can today. That's what today is all about. So the idea for Dayton Reopened actually came from exactly that sentiment that you just saw in the video. We have seen grit and innovation just really shine through this year from our businesses. So I want to take you back to February and March. I know you probably don't want to go there. I don't really want to go there either. But just work with me for a second. There was fear in the air back then. Our business leaders were uncertain. And to be completely honest, we here at the Chamber were pretty uncertain as well. None of us living today has ever been through anything like this. And you know what? Here in Dayton, as Chris, as the governor mentioned, we were just tired. Dayton had been through tornadoes. We had a KKK rally. We had a mass shooting. And now this. As a chamber, we had all hands on deck for a solid year at that time. After the Memorial Day tornadoes, we deployed a member outreach strategy for all of the members in that affected area. We met regularly with the Small Business Administration at that time. We were meeting with neighborhood business associations, community leaders, and elected officials to make sure that our businesses got the information and the resources they needed when they needed them. So after the Oregon District shooting, we teamed with the Downtown Dayton Partnership and Dave Chappelle and many others to present Gem City Shine, and that was to raise money for the families of the victims and the businesses that had been affected. We didn't get much of a break after that, and neither did you. Leading up to the shutdown, we received phone calls, emails, and in-person visits from businesses that were really worried about, what does this mean? And then after the shutdown, we were completely inundated. I want you to know that in those early days, our chamber leadership team was meeting daily, and we had a brief conversation about what our role might be. You have to understand that we are a membership organization, and our members have always come first. But when this began, our community needed us more than ever. So we committed ourselves to responding to any and all businesses that reached out to us in need. And I want you to know that we never shut down. We worked from home in order to be safe, but we never closed our doors to you. The information at that time was literally changing by the hour, and our public policy team was talking regularly, as you heard, with the governor's office, with the mayor's office here in the city of Dayton. We wanted to make sure that your voices were heard, and they were. And our volunteer leadership, I have to thank them. Our executive committee was called upon to give business insight and feedback, both on that state level and to the city of Dayton and beyond, on issues such as the mask mandate. What would that mean for our employers? And then we were connecting once again with the SBA to make sure that we had the most accurate information we could get to you. As you know, in those early days, dollars, that's what was needed the most. We heard the worry in your voice, and we knew that you needed financial resources to keep your payroll going, keep your doors open. And so this summer, we once again partnered with our good friends at the Downtown Dayton Partnership. We presented more than $710,000 to nearly 120 businesses in downtown Dayton through the Reopen Dayton grant program. That was made possible by our largest donor, CareSource. We want to thank them, as always, for their support of this community. Now, we know that minority-owned businesses have been disproportionately affected by this pandemic. That was very important to us to make sure we helped them. So of the awardees of the Reopen Dayton grant, 29.5% were minority-owned and 49.1% were women-owned. Again, very important. You'll hear more later today about how this pandemic has affected diverse businesses. And we've also continued to connect small businesses to grants now available through the CARES Act. And my colleagues who, they've been not here in the office, they've actually been stationed at the Business Solutions Center to assist Montgomery County in its efforts to distribute those dollars, especially again to those diverse and underserved businesses. And we've been spreading information about CARES Act grant dollars from Warren County, Greene County, and beyond. There is money available. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We also work to find the latest information for you, for everything from legal issues to human resources and more. We immediately began putting together webinars to make sure you were informed. Now, mind you, we as a chamber had never actually done a virtual event before. Can you believe that? It seems like it's just our life now, but we did make it work. And I should note that our Dayton Miami Valley Safety Council was the only safety council in the state of Ohio not to miss a meeting. The Ohio BWC mandated, I believe it was in February, March, that we could not do in-person events anymore. And we know how crucial safety training is. We didn't want to stop it. So we just kept on keeping on, just like all of you have done through all of this. Speaking of our business community, I just want to highlight a couple of members. Like I said, our goal through all of this was to shine the light on you and give you as much attention as we possibly can, and you'll see that later today. But there are a couple of members that you will not see or hear from today. There are literally dozens of chamber members we'll highlight on Facebook later today, but these two you will not see or hear from. I think their stories are incredible. I chose them because I have personally interacted with both of these businesses. I wanted to tell you their stories. First is Rely On Manufacturing, which is located on Springfield Street. It's just northeast of downtown Dayton. Rely On's building was heavily damaged in the Memorial Day tornadoes. We helped at that time to connect them with the assistance they needed. And then boom, COVID happened. That relationship that we had built over time paid off, as many of you have seen happen with the chamber. If you have a relationship, you have someone you can turn to. So when this happened, we were able to get some valuable information to them that helped them keep the doors open. And from there, Rely On innovated. As the governor mentioned, manufacturers have figured out a way. They retooled at Rely On to create parts for hospital beds. Now, did this bring them back to pre-COVID revenue projections? I'm guessing the answer is probably not, but they are taking it one step at a time just to continue to move forward. The other story I wanted to share, just on the other side of I-75, off North Dixie, is Restaurant Depot. If you head north out of downtown Dayton, you've probably seen it. It's a big blue building. Rely On Manufacturing is a small family-owned company, but Restaurant Depot is not based in the Dayton region. They have multiple locations. They were set to open in 2019. Their building was completely decimated after it was finished by the tornadoes. They had not opened yet. They could have said, forget it. They could have just bulldozed the rest of it, said, forget it, Dayton, we're out. But instead, they completely rebuilt the building. And in the first quarter of 2020, they were ready to open. And then COVID happened. They were still determined to stay here. They were committed to Dayton. So they pivoted. And as a chamber, we pivoted too. We had promised them we would do a ribbon cutting. They usually do this big party and their vendors come out and there's food. But instead of hosting that traditional ribbon cutting, we went out and we safely shot a video for them promoting their opening day. We encouraged our members to go out and shop there when they opened. But imagine being through all of that, being in an industry then also that supplies the food service industry, which we know has been hit incredibly hard and really needs our support right now. We cannot do this alone. I just a couple days ago was meeting with a new chamber member this week. They are not from in town. They're coming to this market. And someone in that meeting mentioned just how special Dayton is. And you know what? It really is. There is a shine in this community that we cannot ignore. And you'll see this video I want to show you a little later today. But our friends at Boom Crate Studios, another chamber member, helped us capture that shine and the real reason that Dayton really will make it through this. Take a look.
People are going to wonder, how did we do it?
Governor Dewine's statewide shutdown has left many businesses in limbo.
How did the Gem City overcome, persevere, and keep moving forward? PPE, PPP, Reopen Dayton grants, there are so many things to navigate.
I know the CARES Act grant can be a bit overwhelming. We can walk through this together.
But we stayed informed, connected, supportive. In the face of adversity, uncertainty, and change.
Another spike brings Montgomery County back into the red zone. What could this mean for local businesses?
We Daytonians showed our strength and our resilience.
Success is going to be success for our community and for our businesses.
So when people look back and say, oh, how did you do it? We'll say, we did it together.
So many thank yous, Shannon Isom, as you saw there from the YWCA of Dayton. I told Chris Kirshner before today that I have not been able to watch that video yet without tearing up. So thank you to Boom Crate. Thank you to everyone who helped us with that video. We as a Chamber of Commerce are committed to remaining by your side as we weather this storm. But today is all about you. We have been blown away this year by your creativity. Many of you have completely transformed your business models. And now that those creative muscles are in peak condition, you've shown off with those Dayton reopened photos and videos. Our sponsors have been submitting them. I hope you've seen them on our Facebook page. I'm sure there are more to come today. For that, we thank you. Thank you for getting involved with this. Now, some of you I know might still be thinking, what the heck still, I don't know, what is Dayton reopened? Well, here's what it is, because we've never done this before. As we, as a Chamber of Commerce, are transforming our business model, we came up with the idea for a day-long recognition. Not necessarily a celebration. We're not out of this yet, but this is a recognition of what we've been through, how our business community has pushed forward. So we're using Facebook to interact. We're going to share stories today, and we will ask our community to support you, our business community. Now, when you leave this kickoff event, I'll encourage you to pull up your Facebook page. Our Facebook page is just facebook.com/Dayton Chamber. Pull it up on a screen. Just keep an eye on it. You don't have to sit and stare at it all day. We'll be posting videos. We'll be recognizing this year's Chamber Award honorees, which we typically do in our annual meeting in April, and we're able to do today because of COVID. We have some data to share with you, really sobering data about how COVID has affected our business community here in the Dayton area. There will be some polls you can take part in. We're asking folks to tag their favorite businesses along the way, so don't miss out on that opportunity. Make sure you get tagged. One pro tip for you, if you have not already, be sure to click interested on the Facebook premiere video. It'll premiere at noon today. That's another one done by our friends at Indigo Life. That's the one premiere video you haven't seen during this kickoff event that's only for our chamber members. Tell your friends, celebrate yourselves and all the hard work you've put in to make it here. Our work is not over, but it's time we blow a little extra wind into our sails and refresh ourselves so we can keep pushing through. So thank you to our sponsors, especially our presenting sponsor, Kettering Health Network. We cannot thank you enough. And all the sponsors you see on your screen, they've been fantastic through all of this. We want to say thank you to Governor Dewine for being here with us today. Thank you for keeping our business community humming. Thank you for pushing through every single day. And I guess we'll see you on Facebook safely. We'll get Dayton reopened. Chris, did you want to say another few words, or are we set to go on this Friday?
I can't follow that, Holly. You said it all very eloquently. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for our sponsors, and please join us on social media throughout the day. Thanks, everybody.
See you on Facebook.
Thanks, Terry.